Peace, love, and light, family. Sister Toffee here, creator of KMSC.online, where we talk about the divine nature within your spirit. This video is going to be for the divine feminine. I just did a video for the divine masculine. So before we start this reading, I want to just talk to the divine feminine out there. Let's see, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on my personal experience as a young woman and what I've been through and what recommendations I have for you divine feminines out there. I was going to title this for the divine young feminine, but maturity comes with experience and with exposure, and sometimes the things we're exposed to have nothing to do with age but more to do with environment. So I'm going to share my own personal experience from my perspective as far as what I believe divine feminines need to know. If I don't look into the camera, just forgive me for that. That means I'm accessing the files in my subconscious mind to try to remember years back and information I can give you that will be helpful. So the first thing I would like for you to know as a divine feminine, number one, you are soil. Okay? Not all of you know what I mean when I say you're soil. You are the essence of creation. You are the components that you are the operating system that makes the software in the man work, which means bringing forth children. This also applies to your ability to continue to create. Although you may be in a physical form as a feminine, some of you may not. Some of you may be masculine bodies but feminine nature. Understand when I'm talking about the divine feminine, I'm first talking about the physical form of a woman, and then I'm also talking about the feminine nature, the creative energy, or the shaping energy, or the hidden. Okay, because when a baby is shaped in a womb, it's this hidden process that happens. It's a divine process that happens. The hands of the divine shape the child after the soul is brought through the man, okay, through sexual intercourse, and enters into the womb of the woman, and then the divine takes over. And all you have to do is just be, because your programming in your body system is already shaped for the divine to create another human life. So much of what you are is like the dough or the ingredients in which the divine creates a person. So you are a very essential part of life. Every person born on the planet has to come through a woman, but they come, where they're birthed through the woman, they come from God and then through the man, and then is shaped in the woman and birthed through the woman. So both male and females have the process of a through processing. Okay, divine uses the male to bring the child through, and then the birthing process starts for 9 months, goes through 9 months of gestation, and the child comes out. Now during that 9-month process, a lot's going on that you don't know about, or the man. This divine act of a miracle of another person being shaped in the womb of a woman with all of our parts of our bodies. I mean, we're amazing creatures, you know. We all have, fingerprints and hand prints, for those that are palmistrists out there. We have eyes, nose, skin. It's just so many parts of the body. It's amazing just to know one person is shaped in 9 months through in the woman's womb. But a lot of women take this grace of being the source of giving birth to people for granted. Although we are the environment that the child or the soul or the seed is shaped in, we are not the person or the being doing the work. The divine is doing the work. And the reason why I'm saying that is because just like I talk about toxic masculinity, we have toxic femininity. A lot of mothers take too much credit for what the divine is doing, what God is doing, and we are not doing. However, our dedication as mothers is the gift that we give the child. That's the second gift. The first gift is allowing the child to actually be shaped in our womb, and then that's the first gift. The second gift is giving birth to the child, which is risky for our own life, and then third is actually taking care of the child to the best of our ability and providing for the child. So those are the three sacrifices we make as women with our children, the three basic ones. But I will say that unfortunately a lot of women, before they understand who they are, the who, what, when, where, why, how of themselves, as a spirit being, as a female being, they don't know the who, what, when, where, why, how of themselves. So you can't teach what you don't know, okay? And so just take this with a grain of salt. I'm not talking about the shortcomings of any women, because I'm a woman myself. I'm speaking about these things so we all can level up. There's a lot of things that I wish people would have taught me when I was young, and I did not know the things that I should have known about the who, what, when, where, why, how of myself, the who, what, when, where, why, how of my place in society as a woman, and the things I would have to deal with. The role of the woman in the eyes of the divine, of God, and the role of the woman in the eyes of man. Okay, men, meaning the male consciousness that rules this present day, the present state that they are in as far as their conscious evolution and what they see woman as. Okay, and the role they feel we should play, which is predominantly patriarchal in this particular part of the world, the United States of America. And so these are all the things we have to take consideration of when we're trying to shape ourselves into becoming the divine feminine we're supposed to become, the woman of God we're supposed to become. And as I said before, many women have not been equipped as mothers to even know themselves as a spirit being, or their place in society or in a home, etc., or in the eyes of the divine. So we're not even aware of what we have to deal with. We're basically taught to play a role and fulfill a position without even knowing what we are. We're just taught what to do and how to be, but not who we are and why we're here and how we're made and what we're supposed to be doing within, okay, our own understanding of self. And so this is a deep and a unfortunate and traumatic miseducation of women. It causes the perpetuation of unhealthy mothering, systemic issues with children, unresolved traumas, and lack of evolution of self. It causes a lot of pain for our children. It causes a lot of burdens on society. It causes a lot of dysfunction in men, because they can only do what we allow them in a certain sense. I mean, unless the law allows them to, violate women and don't give them any repercussions, then we're in trouble. But there are laws in place, and we have to take account of those laws, and we have to use those laws to our benefit. But we also have to use divine wisdom to operate within our own lives and in our own environments, and use the resources that we have to protect ourselves. And it's unfortunate, but we have to live a somewhat defensive life. The male would be the offense. And I'm saying that because, unfortunately, at this point in time, in male-female relationships, or just relationships, period, there's a dominant and then a weaker. And unfortunately, at this point, it's been an aggressive thing. It's been something either through aggression or manipulation, or simply through mere social programming. And so what I want to tell you is that we have to get to a place of being able to evaluate regularly ourselves, our environment, the people in our lives, because our environments are going to shape us. And those that are affected most by an environment are children and women. And because women are the first teachers and the first protectors also, because men are working. And so when the children are at home, there's no one to protect the children but us. But if we don't know how to protect our children, we haven't been taught how to protect our children, well, our children are at risk of having issues that they'll have to deal with as adults. So, and as they say, hindsight is 20/20. I can only give what I have now, and that's knowledge and wisdom from my own experiences, which I'm trying to share with you now in this video. I'm sure this video won't be enough time for me to explain everything, but I'll try to generally speak about it. I didn't write down any outline. I'm just going to try to remember basically what I went through in my childhood and young adulthood and middle age, and then now the age that I am now. So when I was a child, unfortunately, I grew up in a dysfunctional environment because there was no male in the house, no man in the house. So I had a parent who was under a lot of pressure, had a lot of responsibility. I really don't know what happened in the relationship because I didn't have my father in my life. But I did see him one time, but I still I didn't have enough time to make a proper judgment on his character. I can only take what I was told about who he was as a person, so I really never knew what kind of person he was. Anyway, my mother was one of many, as a few men, that had to raise more than one child on their own. My parent raised 5 children, and so this was a tremendous burden on my parent, my mother. So she had a lot to deal with, and she had dysfunctions as a result, because no woman is meant to raise children all on her own. Neither is a man. So this caused a lot of dysfunction. The dysfunctions caused dysfunctions in her children, which set me on the path of self-spiritual mastery, because I became very destructive of myself because of the things that happened in the household. She could not be everywhere at one time, so there was no way for her to keep an eye on me at all times. So certain things happened that shaped me in a way that was destructive to myself, and I had to figure out on my own what my own dysfunctions were, because that's a full responsibility. 5 children, taking care of yourself, 5 children, a mortgage, a house, you know what I mean, dental, medical, that's just a lot. So for me to have expected any more from her would have been too much. However, because of what she was dealing with, for some reason, my particular parent was not able to talk. She was not very verbal. She just was very directive. She told you what you could do and could not do, and that was pretty much it. There was no other conversations. You just had rules, you followed them, but as far as any other interest in you, no, there weren't any, and you were just expected to follow the rules because she had a lot to carry, a lot to handle, and that was it. So in my case, I became a young mother because I experienced childhood sexual abuse. I'm not going to get into details. I'm not mad about it. I forgive the males in my secondary family. It didn't happen from immediate family members. But males in my secondary family or extended family violated me as a child. And it caused me mental and emotional aberrations that led me on a destructive path. A child should never be exposed to that type of energy because it's very powerful, and even adults can't handle sexual energy. So a lot of times when we are young girls and we don't have that proper protection, it doesn't have to be a father per se. It could be a tribe of women. It could be, tribal council of women that understand what is needed to properly raise a child, male or female child. But when you don't have that fortification and that understanding of what we're facing in this world and what type of 24-hour-a-day surveillance needs to be around children, things happen, situations happen, and issues slip through the cracks, and some of those issues change a person for life, and they can either destroy them or turn them into a better person, and it may take years to transform. It took me years to transform what happened to me as a child. I had to do it on my own. So that has to do with being healthy sexually and protecting the body. So if you have children, boys or girls, your children's protection is very important. Now that's out the way. You need to make sure that your children are safe, protected, and that they are constantly being surveilled. That's the number one thing I want to tell you about being a mother. This is not going to be a video that's for children, so it's going to be young adults 18 and over. If you are a young mother, you need to understand that this is not Candyland. This is not a nice world. We're expected to and trained through spirituality to be passive, submissive, non-combative, not have a rebuttal when it comes to male dominance. Well, that's changing in the world today. You know, we have LGBTQ community, we have males in relationships with other males, we have females in relationships with other females. The dynamic of heterosexual relationships have been so toxic. I personally believe, and I know a lot of people won't, agree with me. I believe somehow that it is a part of the divine plan, in the sense that the reality of that happening makes people that are heterosexual look at themselves. At least it should. Because if it was such a happy relationship between heterosexuals, then it probably wouldn't be that much interest in same-sex relationships. So that's what I wanted to focus on as far as being a mother, okay? So regardless of how old you are, it's very important to make sure in the formative years while your children are growing to be very, very protective of them. I used to feel bad for kids that were protected by their parents, that were overprotective. They were given a special gift, because those formative years are so very important. It's going to shape your consciousness. So if you have young children, you need to really sit down and breathe and figure out what you need to do to get yourself together. You need to find out where you're balanced and where you're not. You need to find the who, what, when, where, why, how you became how you are, who you are, why you do what you do, where you think your life is headed with the present habits that you have, the present beliefs that you have. You need to figure it out, because we indirectly affect our children. Our lives affect our children. A lot of times women think that their lives are really not a non-factor with their children, but that's so not true. Our greatness or our weakness will affect our children. And so even our hidden aspects of not evolving, whether like we have lack of courage, lack of confidence, lack of faith, inability to speak up for ourselves, laziness, codependency, attention seeking, validation seeking, lacking spirituality, lacking spiritual reality, lacking a spiritual practice, not being able to set healthy boundaries, not knowing how to choose healthy people to be around, not knowing what a healthy person is, not knowing what a healthy relationship is, not knowing basic childhood development skills that we need to have as mothers, even though we're not child development teachers, preschool teachers. It doesn't matter. We need to understand the processes of growth that our children go through. And the reason why I'm talking about your children is because I used to believe that a man was my gift, because, you know, you got the Cinderella story, you got Barbie and Ken. I don't know what kids have now. But when I was a little girl, they had Barbie and Ken dolls, where Barbie and Ken would get together, go to the beach. You know, she'd look really cute. He'd be cool in his swim trunks, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, you know, the fairy tale story. I don't know if you know this song by Anita Baker called No Fairy Tale. Maybe I'll make it the end. I'll give you an option to click on the song so you can listen to it. So, ladies, as much as we like the Prince Charming story, there is no fairy tales in this story. Sometimes you get a Prince Harry and Meghan story, and sometimes you don't. It's a very rare thing that happens. So I would say give up on that, but I'm saying don't live your life or shape your path based on that Prince story, the Cinderella story. Don't do it to yourself. Unfortunately, the scripture in the Bible, because I grew up in Christianity, for those of us that were born with Christian values, it says, women, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. And then it also says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Most men will not sacrifice themselves for you. Let's get that straight. They sacrifice everything for their own manhood, number one, because they had a job in the Bible before a woman. And I'm not saying the Bible is the be-all, end-all, but I am saying there are valuable precepts in there that both men and women should study and learn, as with all spiritual religions, in my personal opinion. One of my favorites is the Bhagavad Gita, which is really non-gender related. I think it's very powerful as far as mastering your path of self-spiritual mastery. The Bhagavad Gita by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Very good book for any person to read about fighting the darkness and the light within. I just saw 222 on the clock. Pretty awesome. All right, I guess Bhaktivedanta is here. Well, that's a blessing. If you are here, thank you for your presence. So, ladies, woman to woman, I'm asking you to sit down and do a self-analysis, not just today, but every day. We cannot look to our mothers, our fathers, our men to prepare us for who we are meant to become. We have to do the work ourselves. Unfortunately, the world we're in today is more about capitalism instead of inner self-mastery. I personally believe that the foundation of your life needs to be based on inner knowing before you can set a strong foundation on the outer world. So I'm encouraging you to analyze yourself. If you'd like to get a personal reading or a nature chart examination, you can email me. There'll be a email at somewhere in the body of the description box. You'll be able to find my email. That's how you contact me. But what I'm saying, ladies, is that this world has been ran by the patriarchy for quite some time. They've done a great job in some areas, and other areas can use improvement. So we, as the divine feminine, as a reflection of the cosmic mother womb, the universal mother, Mutnechet, okay, the expanse of space that holds the planets in the air, in the gravitational sphere that they're in, the Milky Ways, galaxies, constellations, that's all cosmic mother. And her mystery is unknown and unlimited, okay? And so is the potential of creation, which is the Father. We have a role to play, and it's time for us to step up to our roles of as the divine feminine. So we have to begin to cultivate our own soil, and that soil is the soil of our minds, our hearts, and our will. It starts with the imagination. You have to start bringing down the strongholds of thoughts that were given to you by the environment or people that spoke over you, things that aren't true. You have to begin to re-till the soil of your mind, okay? You have to reprogram yourself. So that's regarding your children, and as far as cultivating yourself. Thirdly, I'd like to say forgive your parents. People do what they know. As my auntie, my late Aunt Flora would say. I love you, Auntie Flora. People do what they know. Well, you can't do any more than what you know. And you cannot give what you don't have. So if they don't have the wisdom, they can't give it to you. Or if they don't have the emotional balance to be able to clear their mind enough to take the time out to teach you or to have taught you as a child, then they were unequipped. Forgive them, they're people. We cannot look back and say, well, I didn't get this and I didn't do that. I didn't get that. I mean, you can do that for a moment, cry over it, roll around in the slop and, whine over the spilled milk. But that's not going to help us moving forward. We're in the Aquarian age. It's the age of mentalism. It's about using your mind to recreate your world. And it's something that has to be done every day. You have to till the soil of your mind. Whatever you believe will become the truth. So I first want you to know that, ladies, I know many of you have been hurt. I know you've been taken for granted. I know you have been abused. I know you have been misused. I know you have been mistreated. Some of you have been physically abused, emotionally abused, some even raped. But I want you to know that even though you've experienced those things, you are still valuable, okay? I think I'm going to put that song in by Aretha Franklin called "A Rose is Still a Rose," okay? So take heart knowing that you are valuable, that you are loved, and that you are a reflection of the Divine Mother. You are an extension of the Cosmic Mother universe, okay? The universal womb of life. You are valuable. I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. You can heal yourself. If you heal yourself, that will be a way to let everyone know that you love, that you may have hurt, or that may have missed the mark in some way as far as your role in their life. You transforming your life can be a testament as to what is possible. So the best way to affect others is to change your life. The way to affect other people positively is to change your life. Don't worry about perfection. Just do what you can. And most of it starts with forgiveness. I'm going to tell you that's going to be the most powerful thing you can do, is to forgive yourself and others. People say when you say I'm sorry, that means that forgiveness happens. That's not true. Forgiveness is a process. It takes a lot of time, a lot of mental thought, a lot of alchemy, a lot of rehashing the same ideals, and you talking with your higher self, and your higher self telling you why you need to let this go and why it's going to benefit you to do so, and why it makes no sense to hold on to resentment and how it's going to hurt you. Okay? And once you decide that you want to win, and you would rather win than be right, to win you have to lose, and you have to lose some battles, and you have to say, you know what, that was a lesson learned. I'm going to charge that to the game of life, and I'm going to let that go, and moving forward I won't let that happen again. Okay? If I have anything to do with it in my conscious awareness. So secondly, ladies, I want you to stop comparing yourselves to other women. That is a trait of a toxic feminine. That is not a divine feminine trait. You ladies out there that believe that your femininity has something to do with, and I'm not hating on you. There was a time when I was super duper feminine, and I loved being sexy, and I wore my wigs and my weaves, and I wear leather pants, and I mean, I was a hot thing, you know. I'm much older now, and my life is different, but I want you to know that it's okay to look beautiful, but do not judge yourself or another woman on material things, material goods, or clothing. That has nothing to do with your divine feminine energy or consciousness. Divine feminine energy and consciousness has to do with you understanding your essence as the divine feminine aspect of life. You understand that you're a reflection of the mother universe. You understand that you are the source of life, like Yemaya, the ocean, like Oshun, the beauty of life, nature. You understand that you are the soil or the environment in which the potential of man comes forth. They say every good man has a good woman standing behind him, whether it's his mother or his wife or a good friend. You are that potential that brings forth the man's, not only his seed, which is another soul that can be a person that works for his company, etc., but a wife for his son. You are those ingredients that shape whatever it is that the man desires to bring it into the earthly realm. Okay? You are very valuable. Now, our divine masculines have been in toxicity for quite some time. We're going to have to mother them, not in the sense that we're going to have to tolerate them being brats, but we're going to have to find creative ways to guide them into their own power. Once they understand that them controlling their power is the most beautiful thing and the most honorable thing that a real divine feminine loves, they will start to walk in that path. Men do what they think we like. So we have to understand the power that we have and use it for good and not for bad, but to bring out the best in the man and not the worst. Not to use them, not to try to manipulate them, because what's going to happen is if you try to use and manipulate a man, you're going to be the one that ends up used and manipulated. So on that note, as far as dating men are concerned, I want you to stop looking at men as banks, or looking at men as somewhere to get $1. I want you to see men as a reflection of the divine Heavenly Father, because that's what they are. They are an expression of all potential. Everything that is, everything that was, and everything that will be is an energy of the divine masculine, the earth god. So he is supposed to be the high priest of his home, of his life, of his community, of his environment. But unfortunately, a lot of them have been taught to be destructive towards women, and they don't have to. When I say divine masculine, I want you to know I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the divine masculine physical body. I'm talking about divine masculine nature. You have a lot of women with divine masculine nature as well as men, okay? But it does, this applies to feminine women and also feminine men. Okay, so divine feminine is the energy of creation. But when I speak about giving birth in life, I am referring to women, because women give birth. Unless the child is being brought up, birthed in a lab. And they can make children in a lab now. So I just want you to know your essence, and I want you to know that being the divine feminine, the loving, divine, nurturing nature is a beautiful thing. Men like beauty, but they love that mother spirit more than beauty. Okay, as far as longevity is concerned. So cultivating your divine mother spirit is one of the most beautiful things that you can do. Not becoming a diva, not becoming a Helena housewife, all that is toxic femininity. Okay, I'm not telling you it's not okay to look good or feel good, but that sassy, snappy, and rolling the neck, that is not divine femininity. It's not. It's something that has been shaped through these tools of entertainment that has shaped ideals of what feminine power looks like, and it's not that. Feminine power is simply this: embodying the divine mother spirit to the best of your ability, guiding people in the most loving and nurturing way that you possibly can, being firm and stern when you need to be, and letting your no be no, and knowing what resources you have to back yourself up to protect your stance. If you don't happen to have a male or males in your family to back up your stance. It's being a prayerful woman. It's wanting the best for the whole. It's understanding that there's a bigger picture here. It's learning not to be selfish and thinking of the long term. It is being resourceful. It is taking what you have and not wasting it and using it to its full capacity, whether it's your mind, your energy, your time, or the food in your household, or the finances that your husband brings in, okay, or your partner. It is being very resourceful and making something out of what seemed to be nothing, something of value. And so I want you to understand what divine feminine energy is. I know what the culture says about looking hot and being sexy. That's okay. That's fine. You can get all the sexy clothes you want, dress how you want, whatever. Okay, you can wear sexy lingerie at home for your mate, whatever. I'm talking about your inner consciousness, your nature. Trying to get back at the divine masculine for being toxic is not going to help. It's not going to help. Oh, well, he cheated on me, I'm going to cheat on him. Not going to help. Oh, well, he left me for another woman, or he left me for another woman, or he left me for a man, I'm going to go and be with a woman now. No. You have to know what you want because it's what you want. You don't let anything someone else did make you do anything because they did that. You have to know what you want. That's why I said you got to get into the who, what, when, where, why, how of yourself. Self-spiritual mastery. This goes for male and female. Now, if you don't believe me, you say, Sister Toffee, you don't even have on Prada. Who are you? You can't tell me. You don't have on Yves Saint Laurent. I don't know what other new brands. You don't have on Chanel No. 5 cologne, or you don't have a Fendi bag. Who are you talking to? You're nobody. Fine. This is not the channel for you. Okay, this is for women that don't mind getting dirty with their men or with their partner. You understand? They don't mind getting in the trenches. They don't mind getting barefoot and working in the grass to plant, vegetables so they can eat healthy. Working hard with their divine masculine so that they can have a life. And then turning around and getting in the shower and getting pretty and putting a flower in her hair to look pretty. They can go both into the masculine and feminine energy, okay, for her partner. Okay? The divine feminine can get into masculine energy for the good of the whole. Okay? She doesn't act like a helpless Southern belle. She is strong. We give birth to children, so don't tell me you can't be strong. Yes, you can. Now, women that have not had a father in their life, I really want you to know something. It is extremely important that you understand what a healthy divine masculine is. Unfortunately, we've had many areas where masculine power has been abused and toxic masculinity has reigned. Men have been overly aggressive, unethical, uncouth, not in touch with the divine feminine, dealing with the divine feminine in a way that is not compassionate, not loving, and not godly. You need to understand what divine masculine character is. So I'm encouraging you to look online and study different men. Men that are professionals, men that are spiritualists, men that have been spiritual guides, even ancestral males that became ascended masters. I want you to find a divine masculine template that makes you feel good, protected, loved, nurtured, cared for, guided, provided for. My personal guide was not my personal father, but my mother's father, my grandfather, James Pierce Sr. He was my buddy. I still smile when I think back when I was a little girl. He used to let me paint the rocks outside the house and go to the backyard and get vegetables out the garden. He was my best friend. So I really miss him. I love you, Granddaddy. So I didn't have much time with him, but it was the healthiest short period of my life that I had with the divine masculine. So fortunately, because of him, I understand what a divine masculine is. Some of you women out there don't know what a divine masculine is. I'm encouraging you to pray and ask the divine to show you what a divine masculine is. Research men. Find one that inspires you, resonates with your spirit. Look at what he's done, if he's given to charity, if he supports children. Find out about him. And you find your own divine masculine template, even if it's an ancestor, like I said. And if you are not in a relationship, pray for these qualities to be found in the divine masculine that you want. If you are in a relationship, pray that these qualities will become a part of the character of your divine masculine. And also pray for the strength to walk away if they don't embody those things, because you deserve a healthy love. A lot of times some men don't want, or some masculine energies don't want to be healthy. They want to be toxic. And when I say toxic masculinity, please understand, I'm not talking about just physical men. There are female masculines out in this world. And it's about the nature, understanding how to love and care for the feminine and how to keep themselves healthy, okay? So in saying that, I'm going to start this reading. That was a lot of ranting at 37 minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back. This is just going to be a prelude to this video, to the divine feminine, part 1. So it'll be a message to the divine feminine, how to cultivate your divine feminine qualities. Okay, I'll be back in 2 and 2. We'll do a short reading, and I can get back to some other work that I have to do, because divine has been picking at me all day saying, you got to do a video for divine feminine. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So that's that. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you want to hear more about this topic, if there's specific areas you'd like for me to share with you my experiences about, my understanding regarding Netra knowledge and how you can apply this to your life, leave it comment in the comment area. Share your experience with other people. Help each other here if you happen to see this video. If you haven't already been to this channel, thank you for coming. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend about this channel. And yeah, we got to do a lot of work, mama. So I love you as a sister, okay, in the divine universal feminine energy. I love you as a mother. I love you as a friend, okay? We can do this. We got this, divine feminine. We can alchemize. We have ability to do that. All the power of the universe is within us, okay? So we've got to embody that mother energy. That is the true divine feminine. There's nothing higher than being a mother. And we first got to start with mothering ourselves, okay? If you happen to have a beautiful mother that was able to embody those energies, thank her. If you have a mother that lacked those qualities, don't judge her. Thank her for what she did. She did the best she could, what she had. And she's an awesome woman too. So be grateful for what she did do, okay? We're all doing the best that we can. So I'll see you guys in 2 and 2. This is just the prelude to the message, but I want you to start thinking about your self-spiritual mastery as a divine feminine, okay? I want you to take this seriously and start to shape your own understanding of what that means, okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys in 2 and 2. Bye for now.